the new technology, which is T5 fluorescent. Our friend Watt in the earlier presentation talked about it, and it's a pretty neat technology. We've all seen the T8 lamps, or I'm assuming that most of us have seen T8 lamps. The T5 HO lamp is a smaller lamp in diameter. It's probably the diameter of a dime, and it's a high output lamp. And 4 of those lamps will replace, on a 1-for-1 swap, one of the 400 watt metal halide fixtures. Gives us an average candle power of around 34, which is a little bit better light. And it also gives us a crisper, cleaner light. Now, on changing one light from another, we go to $52 a year. So that's right around a 59% savings. What isn't factored into this equation is on the end of the fixture, there's what's called an occupancy sensor. And that occupancy sensor can give probably an additional 15 to 20% savings. It's based on a sliding scale from 30 seconds to 30 minutes, and you set it for when it stops seeing motion. So when the occupancy sensor stops seeing motion, it'll start its countdown backwards and it'll shut the light off. You can do lighting, you can do HVAC, you can do anything you want, but there's no better way to save money than shutting it off. The cheapest way to go is if you shut the lights off. Warehouse situations, as Mr. Byers talked about earlier, they're placed down in Gordonsville, Virginia. Half of their building was storage for a book company. And there were 2 employees that worked there. They came in at 6 o'clock in the morning, they left at 6 o'clock at night. And there was not a lot of activity in there. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, they come in and they turned on 500 lights, one shot. And there were 2 people that worked in there, and the building was massive. And at the end of the day, they shut those 500 lights off. Every day, 5 days a week. So we redesigned a system for them that we replaced them 525 lights with 300 lights with sensors. And the best part about it was now the one guy could find the other guy when he went to take a nap, because he couldn't get anywhere without the lights popping on, so he followed him around. These are just some of the other benefits in a metal halide fixture versus a T5 fluorescent. The energy efficiency part, obviously, as we just talked about. A T5 draws 192 watts compared to 468. For a single metal halide fixture, it equates about a 59% savings. Bottom line is that a T5 is an energy efficient fixture, which can significantly reduce the facility's overall consumption. Light levels, which ties into a lot of, sometimes I know in our office, we just retrofitted our lights because we just moved in the past couple months. But as far as I think the psychological benefits, our new lights burn, as I talked about on the color Kelvin scale, closer to 12 o'clock daylight. And we actually did keep a few of the old ones in operation in our office so that you can see the difference between really, it is day and night. So the T5 fixture has an excellent light output, and the quality of light is much better. Color rendering. And color rendering it's very big in retail. In the metal halide fixture, as we talked about before, the newer T5 is close to daylight, and the metal halide fixture is at about 65%. And as the fixture burns on and it gets older, it starts to take on more of a purplish color, where the T5 fluorescent doesn't. It stays constant at about 92-93% until it dies. The metal halide starts out and it loses its color as the life goes on. The T5 kind of stays straight and then it just dies. Startup and restrike time. The metal halide excuse me, fixture, if you have ever been in a warehouse where there was power interruption, When they shut off, they take about 15 minutes to warm back up. So there's a lot of loss there. There's downtime in a factory or an industrial facility that uses these fixtures. The T5 is an instant on, instant off. Hot spots and coverage in warehousing or even in a retail effect, the metal halide has throws light more of a cone straight down, where the ability to bend the metal on the fixture with the T5, that 94% reflective material, allows us to be able to almost position the light within reason wherever it needs to be. We can keep the light nice and tight for retail aisleways, freezers, and we can throw the light as far out, pretty far out, to be able to get a nice even spread coverage, so that when you look through a big building, you don't see big triangles of light. And heat, the heat that a 400 watt metal halide kicks off is about 1400 BTU. And I didn't realize until about a year ago, we had a customer that was saving an awful lot of money going from metal halide to T5. But his business was, he was in the making cold air business. He was in the freezer business. And that difference of 50% heat reduction, we did a calculation for him on the lighting, and he was thrilled with it. The lighting was saving him 59%. But when we came back and we did another calculation for him and showed him that he now has to make less cold air, he saved an additional 15%. So the heat is absolutely amazing that is saved in using the T5 technology. So that's it on lighting, office and warehouse, very basic. If I can answer any questions. We do this work, but what I also want to talk about very quickly is that you heard a lot about grants, you heard a lot about loans, and grants, loans, government, you put those all together, it sounds like a lot of paperwork. It isn't simple, but it is not as hard as it used to be. The grant and loan applications are available online, as everyone here talked about today, but please don't be afraid to go looking into the internet on these websites. Just because it's a grant or a loan from the government, it doesn't mean that it is very hard to do. There are a couple lighting rebates out there that are, one in particular is a 1.5-page form. It takes about 5 minutes to fill it out. So as the technology evolves, even the IT technology is evolving, and it's getting easier to fill the grant and loan applications out. So that's one thing that, please don't be afraid of that. And we can certainly help you with that if you need help with that. Okay.